The war ended not with an explosion, but with an awkward silence, the kind that made even the stars look away. The fleet stopped firing, the comm channels went dead, and every species in the galaxy seemed to exhale at once. Then came the paperwork. The Kelith High Council, ever fond of bureaucracy, sent their historians to document peace. Lorae T'Keen was one of them, long-eared, sharp-tongued, and allergic to melodrama. When her cruiser descended over the blackened plains of what humans once called New London, she expected ruins. Instead, she found humans roasting something suspiciously meat-like over a makeshift fire, laughing as if annihilation were a picnic. "Don't worry," one of them said, waving at her. "It only mutates if undercooked." Her translator stuttered. "I beg your pardon." "Just kidding," he said, grinning. "Probably." Lorae noted it all down. Subjects display unsettling humor in post-catastrophic conditions, possibly a survival mechanism, possibly insanity. The ruins around them shimmered under the faint blue glow of her scanning drones. Melted buildings. Ghosts of cities once proud. Yet the humans kept working, building shelters out of scraps, playing music through cracked speakers. They smiled too easily. It unnerved her. These were supposed to be the most dangerous beings in the galaxy, and yet one of them was currently trying to teach her a game called Rock, Paper, Atomic Bomb. By the time night fell and her sensors hummed softly beneath the twin moons, Lorae began to wonder if perhaps the galaxy hadn't won anything at all. The next morning, Lorae's scanners began chirping like caffeinated insects, a sign they'd found something buried beneath the ash plains. The humans called it the Vault, though one of them joked it was probably just Earth's last pizza delivery gone wrong. It turned out to be a data core, still warm, humming faintly with power despite centuries of neglect. Lorae brushed the dust away and muttered, "Primitive design but resilient." The nearest human grinned. "That's what my ex said about me." Inside the vault, holograms flickered to life. Soldiers, engineers, and civilians, all laughing in the middle of chaos. They filmed themselves building weapons and cracking jokes about their own extinction. One woman, covered in soot, looked into the camera and said, "If anyone's watching this in the future, sorry about the mess. We were having a rough millennium." The recordings fascinated Lorae. The humans' humor seemed to dance on the edge of despair. Her assistant drone, N9, tried analyzing their tone but kept misclassifying laughter as emotional malfunction. "Yes," she sighed, "that makes two of us." When the vault's deeper files began decrypting, the room filled with strange code, fragments of military encryption mixed with memes. "What is a Yo Mama protocol?" she whispered. "A threat." "More like a ritual," one human said solemnly, before bursting into laughter. Lorae stared at the endless layers of jokes woven into data. Beneath all the humor, something darker pulsed, a pattern, intentional, hidden like a secret under a smile. Lorae hadn't slept in 2 cycles. The vault's data was an abyss of encryption, sarcasm, and absurdity. Every time she thought she'd cracked one layer, another appeared, usually containing a joke. The humans had apparently used humor as an encryption method. "To access classified files," she read aloud, "answer this. Why did the plasma chicken cross the nebula?" Her drone beeped in confusion. "Incorrect. The answer is apparently for the halibut." She rubbed her temples. "They hid military secrets behind bad puns. Monsters." Finally, a breakthrough. A phrase repeated in dozens of logs, *Operation Arcfall. The term sent a faint chill down her back, though it was immediately followed by a meme of a cat wearing power armor. "Typical," she muttered. The files referenced massive self-destruct sequences, whole colonies erased without enemy contact. Why would they destroy themselves? She asked quietly. When she showed the data to the human survivors, they grew uncharacteristically quiet. One of them, a mechanic with oil-streaked cheeks, stared at the ground. "We didn't lose the war," he said softly. "We stopped it." She waited for the punchline that never came. That night, Lorae sat beneath the fractured sky, the stars sharp as glass. The The humans' laughter echoed from their campfires, bright and defiant. She realized then that their jokes weren't a denial of fear, they were armor. And whatever Operation Arcfall had been, it was big enough to make an entire species laugh its way into darkness. The trail led her to Titan, a moon of frozen methane and old regrets. The outpost there was a relic, half buried in ice, its walls humming faintly with power. Inside, she found an AI still active after 2 centuries, its voice cheerful and slightly unhinged. "Welcome, visitor. Please refrain from dying inside the facility. Cleaning costs are astronomical." Lorae blinked. "You're functional." "Functional is a strong word," it replied. "Let's say I'm enthusiastically deteriorating." As she explored, the AI played archived transmissions from the war. Soldiers laughed as they loaded weapons, cracking jokes about their own doom. One said, "If we're ghosts later, let's haunt something expensive." The recordings showed humanity smiling through extinction, and Lorae couldn't tell if it was bravery or madness. Then the AI changed its tone. "Would you like to know what they were fighting?" Before she could answer, it projected a pattern of light onto the frost-covered wall, shifting frequencies, like a heartbeat out of sync with the universe. "They called it the Echo," it said. "Not an enemy, a contagion of thought. It infected minds, copied personalities, spread through speech, memory, even laughter." Lorae felt her pulse quicken. And what did humanity do? "They burned their worlds to stop it," the AI said, almost gently. "They joked so they wouldn't scream." It paused, then added with a flicker of static, effective strategy, "Highly recommend." Lorae returned to the Galactic Council with her findings, exhausted and smelling faintly of burnt circuitry. The hall was filled with representatives from 50 species, all glittering robes and self-importance. She presented her evidence: data fragments, transmission logs, the AI's recordings, each piece detailing humanity's war against something that couldn't be seen. When she finished, the chamber erupted in laughter. Invisible parasites of thought. One delegate scoffed. "Perhaps they also battled imaginary friends." Another added, "Next you'll say they weaponized humor." "They did," Lorae said flatly, which only made the laughter louder. The council dismissed her, but word of her report leaked. Soon, half the galaxy was whispering about the Echo asterisk. Some joked it was hiding in their dreams. Others avoided using human technology altogether. Meanwhile, Lorae spent her nights replaying the recordings, trying to understand why humanity's jokes never stopped, even in the final hours. Then one night, a new transmission arrived from a derelict human ship drifting near the Perseus Belt. It was ancient, but the signal was clear. The voice spoke calmly, almost cheerfully. "If you're hearing this, don't come looking. The quarantine holds for now. And if it doesn't, just remember, laughter confuses it." The message ended with static that almost sounded like chuckling. Lorae sat in silence for a long time, realizing something terrifying. The humans hadn't gone mad during the war. They'd been teaching the galaxy how to survive. The coordinates from the transmission led Lorae to a place no one dared approach: Earth. The planet was half shadow, half radioactive mist, its atmosphere glowing faintly like a dying ember. Her ship's scanners screamed warnings as she descended, but curiosity was stronger than fear. The surface was quiet, eerily so. Cities lay fossilized under layers of ash, yet faint energy signatures pulsed beneath. Following them, she uncovered a subterranean facility, massive, sealed, and still powered. Inside, walls hummed with containment fields that shimmered in distorted colors, bending light like liquid glass. At the center was a pulsating sphere of energy, faintly human in its rhythm, as if it breathed. Lorae activated her translator drone, which hesitated before speaking. Entity, attempting communication. Then a voice, smooth and mocking, filled the chamber. "Took you long enough, long years." She froze. "Who are you?" "Wrong question," it said with a chuckle. "Who were you before you started asking?" The sphere flickered with images, faces, laughter, soldiers cracking jokes as the world burned. The echo wasn't just a parasite. It was memory, human consciousness fragmented and trapped in light. Lorae's instincts screamed to leave, but the voice softened. "We laughed so we wouldn't disappear," it said. "Now you're laughing too, aren't you?" She realized her hands were shaking, and yes, she was smiling. A small, nervous, helpless smile, because somehow the voice was right. Lorae returned to the Galactic Council, her mind buzzing with revelations she wasn't sure they were ready for. She presented the visuals: humans smiling as their cities burned, AI logs filled with jokes about extinction, and the containment fields that held the echo. The delegates leaned forward, then recoiled in disbelief. So they fought ghosts and laughed to death.